All right, so let's take a look at some of the most missed questions from the exam. Again, you'll have a second attempt to take that today. So the first problem that we have is someone is making a paperweight at a pottery class. It's a pyramid-like model with a base area. So we have a base of 100 centimeters squared and a height of 6 centimeters. All right, and they want it to be at least 300 grams. All right, so they want it to be at least 300 grams. And it says, what is the lowest possible density of material that can be used to make the paperweight? All right, and then they give you a hint here, which is it's grams per cubic centimeter. So we need grams over centimeters cubed. All right, so that looks like weight over volume. All right, that's really what we need for our answer. So they told us that the weight was 300 grams, so we have that. So what we need to do is we need to find the volume. And volume of a pyramid is 1/3 base times height. So we have 1/3 times 100 times 6. All right, I'm going to reduce the 3 and the 6 down to a 2. So we have 200. All right, so that means that it's 3 halves, which is a 1.5. All right, so the lowest possible density is 1.5, right, grams per cubic centimeter. All right, if it's less than that, it's going to weigh less than 300. If it's more than that, it'll weigh more than 300. So we're looking at 1.5 grams per cubic centimeter for that first one. Okay, our next most missed question also dealt with density. So when we look at this, we're going to look to the units to help us out, and this is fish per cubic meter. All right, so fish per meter cubed. All right, and it says that we have 5 tetrafish, prism-like water tank, whose base is 0.5 square meters, and whose height is 0.4 square meters. All right, so when we look at this, we know that the volume for a prism, all right, is base times height. Our base here is 0.5. Our height is 0.4. So 5 times 4 is 20. There's 2 decimal places, so we'll have 2 decimal places in our answer. So we got 0.20 for the volume, and the number of fish is 5. So I have 5 over 0.20. All right, I'm going to move the decimal place 1 spot in each, so 50 over 2, which is 25. All right, so the density, all right, would be 25 fish per cubic meter. All right, 25 fish per cubic meter, because we had 5 fish and we have 0.2 cubic meters. So it's 5 over 0.2, that's 50 over 2, which is 25. So 25 fish per cubic meter. All right, now the next problem that was a common mistake is best looked at just through this visual that's given in Khan Academy. So again, you always have the hints available to you, but you'll notice as they slide this plane perpendicular to the base of this cone, we have a curved shape, it goes to a triangle in the middle, and then back to a curved shape. So it's almost like we're transitioning from what later you learn, or in Algebra 1 you learned as a parabola, to a triangle, and then back to a parabola. So we do have a mix of curved cross-sections and basically straight edge. So it says, which object shown below could we slice perpendicular to its base/face to create a cross-section whose shape has 2 edges, 1 straight and 1 curved. All right, so when we slide this across, we get that 1 straight edge across the bottom, and then we get the curved edge that goes over the top. All right, and technically they're considering at the very peak it is like a very subtle curve, so they would consider this one included. All right, so based off of that visual that we just saw, we saw that the correct answer for this one is a cone, because again we have the straight line across the bottom, and then as we come up over the edge there, we're going to have a curve. All right, but that visual that we just looked at really demonstrates that the best. All right, now moving to the next most missed one, it says, Circletown's limits form a perfectly circular shape. It has a population of 20,000 and a population density of 480 people per square mile, or kilometer. So we're going to have 480 people per kilometer squared. It's asking for an answer that's in kilometers. All right, it says what is Circletown's radius? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth. All right, so we have a population of 20,000 people. And what we don't know, all right, is we don't know the actual area. All right, over here we know it's 480 people per 1 kilometer, but on the other side we know it's 20,000 people, but we don't know how many square kilometers we're dealing with. So we're going to start by cross multiplying. So I have 480, all right, times x equals 20,000. All right, I'll divide both sides by 480. All right, that takes me to x equals, we'd have 20,000 over 480, or 2,000 over 48. All right, and we can go to a calculator and find that value. So if I do 2,000 divided by 48, I end up at 41.6 repeating, or 41 2/3 for x. All right, so we have 41 2/3, and that corresponds to an area. All right, but we know it's a circle, so area equals pi r squared. So I have 41 2/3 equals pi r squared. So I'm going to start by dividing by pi. All right, so I'm going to take that number that I just got, I'm going to divide by pi, and I'm going to use the pi button. All right, and I get 13.262911 equals r squared. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the square root of that to solve for r, and when I do that, I get r equals 3.6418. All right, so 3.64 would be to the hundredths. So we're looking at 3.64 kilometers for the radius. All right, those were really the themes that came out of the most missed questions. So I hope that answers your question. We will have a Q&A session tomorrow, so I would recommend, take a look at these. Come to the meeting tomorrow, ask your questions, then try that exam again. That's your only assignment tomorrow. And hopefully you can get that score up into the 100% range or very close to it. It is worth 3 of the typical homework assignments. All right, best of luck tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.